What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video, and this I want to break down something very important about Tesla and the overall market. We got more data that just came out from the Fed, and we have something else that's coming up that's very huge. Let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Take nothing I say as financial advice. Anyways, for the markets, I want to talk about this. So we basically just got the rate hike decision. Basically, the Fed are keeping the rates the same, and that's actually exactly what we predicted. We expected this. There was a 99% chance that this would happen, and that's not why the market's moving the way it is, though. We also got the economic projections report, and this is very important. So this is what it's looking like right here. Things are not what they were looking like from before. So back in the month of March, that's when the Fed gave us their insights on the forecast. The last time they did this, and since then they haven't really done that until today. So today the Fed is coming out, and their median rate forecast for the end of 2024 is at 5.1%. Previously, it was at 4.6%. Why is this important? This is implying that the Fed might have to be a little bit more hawkish than initially expected, and they may have to keep rates higher for longer. So that's actually very, very important. Now, their median rate forecast at the end of 2025 is at 4.1%. Before, they were saying it would be 3.9%. So before, back in March during this year, the Fed was saying that rates would be lower by the time we get to the end of 2024, 2025, 2026, right? But now their targets have changed a bit, and the Fed is implying they may have to keep rates a little bit higher for longer and cut a little bit less than expected in a shorter duration of time, right? Looking at the median rate forecast for the end of 2026, it's still the same at 3.1%, but the median rate forecast for the longer run is at 2.8% versus the 2.6% previously. So this implies for this year, okay, for this year, 2024, for the rest of the year, the Fed used to be saying there may be three cuts coming, two or three cuts. Now the Fed is saying there may be closer to one cut, only one cut for the year. That's actually very, very important. So with that happening, why is it that the Fed is saying this? And that's because of the fact that inflation, it's very, very sticky. That's the reason why they're going to be a lot more comfortable to cut rates if inflation were a lot lower. But core is still at 3.4%. It's not even that far from like 3.5, 3.6%. And the point of me saying this is because the Fed would like to see inflation lower before they start cutting rates. And it looks like it's taking longer than what they initially expected because it's been years since the Fed raised rates. It's been a while since they last did that. And yet, inflation is still in the 3.4% area, 3.5%. We're not even at the 2% target yet, and it's taking quite a bit of time. So that's the most important thing. So is the Fed making progress? Well, according to the data, right, guys, and I know that we can't always trust all the numbers. I know, people always say that, but I'm just going to go based off the numbers because that's what the Fed is going by. Yes, at least on paper, the Fed is making progress, sure. But the progress is maybe a little bit slower than what a lot of these Fed officials wanted. So that's the reason why they're in a situation where they may have to keep rates higher for longer. It may take them longer to get comfortable to start cutting rates. And that's what the Fed is trying to tell us. So that is part of the reason why the market actually came down a bit. But despite that, we're getting bought back up again. Tesla's holding up very, very well. And we have this resistance at 180 to be watching for. We have key support at 178. But there is more bullish potential for this moving forward. But we'll have to see how things end up going. So here's my view. We have Jerome Powell about to start his speech at 2:30 p.m. Whatever the guy says is going to cause a big move. I'm not going to be here when he gives his speech, guys. I'll be away for some time. So that's why I'm not doing anything else. This will be my last video until the market ends up closing. And I'll have one more video later on, but this will be my second to last video of the day, if anything. But I just want to say that Jerome Powell, when the guy opens his mouth, the market's going to go berserk. Who knows what's going to happen? So be prepared, guys. And I want to give you guys a warning about that. You never know what could happen. Sometimes completely unexpected moves could come. And we have to kind of like not solely depend on technicals. Sometimes the market's just reacting to whatever he says. So make sure you're prepared for this just to be safe. Same thing with SPY. SPY has resistance at 544 and 545. If we break that, we could get closer to the 550s. We have support at 542. If we lose that, look at 540. We're kind of shuffling right now, but there is upside potential in SPY, at least technically speaking, as we're getting bought back up. But just be careful, guys, as we have these ranges. Same thing with Nvda. We're kind of trading sideways around this 125 range. There's not really a whole lot going on with this. We could even try to push higher later on. The technicals do look more bullish right now, but just to be safe, we'll see what Jerome Powell causes. QQQ is the same thing. We're actually pushing for about 475 as resistance. We also have 473 as our support. If we had lost that, I'd be looking at 472.5 and 470. Overall, we're holding up very well. So we'll have to see how things go. Bitcoin is also holding up well. We could be pushing for 70,000 as resistance. Uh, it has potential to push higher, but we'll see what Jerome Powell causes. And then the same thing can be said about Apple. Apple's pushing for 218. Continuing and to hold above 218 opens the doors for 220. It is still very, very strong, very, very bullish. So we'll just have to see how things end up moving for Apple. But let me just make it very clear to be careful because of the fact that Powell's about to start a speech. If he's very dovish, the market could pump. We'll see what the reaction is. Sometimes Powell could say hawkish things and the market could still pump. So just wait. Let's see what Jerome Powell says, and we'll see what he causes for the markets, guys. He's about to start a speech in about 10 minutes, okay? So be ready. Just know that technicals are not going to be everything, and we will see what he causes. So get ready for that. Just know that economic projections are not as dovish as before, but Jerome Powell's speech could be completely different. So we'll see what he ends up saying. Get ready for some high volatility. He's going to start his speech in 9 minutes, and peace out.